Hi students, how are you all of you? So you are watching here T.S. Eliot, which we had discussed in the last class, that two of the major authors of the 20th century, that is T.S. Eliot and W.B. Yeats, have to be studied very thoroughly and properly. So all those students who are live here, remember one thing, concentrate 100% to this lecture, because not only this lecture is going to give you a proper standing of T.S. Eliot, but you will actually win over the race if at any platform in the entire country you go and asked about T.S. Eliot, you will be a winner. Because my experience of 20 years says that these two authors have to be in your blood as far as modern poetry or modern age is concerned. So इसमें काफी समय अपना होमवर्क अपने घर पे भी दीजिएगा, and I'm sure you will follow this principle. So to start with T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot, जिसका पूरा नाम है Thomas Stearns Eliot, he was born in United States and became a naturalized British subject in 1927. His early publications were, you must have read in your BA, Prufrock and Other Observations. That is a collection of poems of 1917. Then Ara was Prek. Ara was Prek. This is of 1919. And there was a collection of poems only known as poems of 1920. Eliot studied philosophy at Harvard University and also received a lot of instructions in Sanskrit and Indian philosophy, spending a year in the mazes of Patanjali's metaphysics. He received a lot of instructions in Sanskrit and even Indian philology, spending a year in the mazes of Patanjali's metaphysics, which left him in a state of enlightened mystification. अगर हम short में कहें, so he was actually a classicist in literature, a royalist in politics, and Anglo-Catholic in religion. In 1927, Eliot joined the Anglican Church and in the same year wrote the moving religious poem Journey of the Magi. Journey of the Magi, M-A-G-I, Maggie, Magi, whatever you spell. Journey of the Magi, M-A-G-I. That is a religious poem. His skill as a verse dramatist is expressed and beautifully taken into account in his Sweeney Agnostis, 1932. Then Ash Wednesday and Marina, that is of 1930. If we talk about Ash Wednesday, we find Eliot turning to the Catholic faith, and though the verse of the poem is displeasing, Eliot had at least found a spirit to lighten his darkness. A more definitely Anglo-Catholic idea lay behind his verse poem known as The Rock. The Rock. And the second is Murder in the Cathedral. Murder in the Cathedral of 1935. Clear? This बल्कि मैं ये कहूं अगर कि ये और भी ज्यादा एडवांस्ड है, उसकी एक ड्रामा है द फैमिली रियूनियन 1919, and a great poem which actually was inspired by so many things very important for you students for the net examination, that is four quartets 1944. Eliot was very much influenced by Bradley's philosophy, and Eliot's philosophical contemplation blended with the religious fervor are expressed in the poems which are a part of the four quartets, that is East Coker, the Dry Salvages, and Little Gidding. East Coker, Dry Salvages, and Little Gidding. These all three were published in 1943 as four quartets. And the major theme of Eliot's was time, samay, experience, and also the possibilities of reconciliation. और yes, फोर्थ पोएम कौन सी थी इसमें? फोर क्वार्टर्स में चार है ना, तो मैंने तीन बताई आपको, ईस्ट कोकर, ड्राई सैल्वेजेस, लिटिल गिडिंग. द फोर्थ वन, बल्कि कलेक्शन में पहली, बर्न्ट नॉटन. बर्न्ट नॉटन, BURNTNORTON. Burnt Norton has confident verses with reflections in a rose garden. East Coker was the Somerset village from which his family has immigrated to the US, and the poem dwells in the past. In the Dry Salvages, what is Dry Salvages? It is a group of rock islands off the coast of Massachusetts, where he deals with his own past in America. Eliot is too close for any certain estimates, and he was the major influence on his own generation, and that he has created a poetic revolution. The influence of Wasteland, a great epical poetry of the century, has been immense. No poet in his own lifetime has seen such a verbal monument of criticism over the work like the Wasteland. He is a great poet as well as a great critic, and like Matthew Arnold, he turned to tradition. For what? For orderliness, and established new standards for criticism, and made a revolution in the taste of his generation, both by his prose and by his verses. A great poet, T.S. Eliot, while writing himself, should write of his time. Then only he can be a representative poet of his age. And thus, as we find Chaucer's prologue to the Canterbury Tales, writing about the 14th century, Tennyson writing about his own Victorian age, Eliot's Wasteland expresses the mood of weariness, the mood of despair, the mood of disillusionment of the post-war Europe. And here, in this epical poem, the poet gives us a horrid picture of the despair-ridden humanity, thereby giving a sort of detached commentary on the disintegration of the post-war civilization. His poems, his poetic dramas, all deal with the condition of human souls. And this human soul is always in a state of anxiety and in a state of irredeemable crisis. As far the socio-political situation is concerned, we are actually passing through a great crisis. And his Wasteland depicts irreconcilable conflicts of the human souls, which emerge out of a life without belief. And he makes the reader aware not of the problems of modern life, but also of mankind as a whole, where the soul of the man itself is in horror and loneliness, anxiety, depression, despair, unless and until it is redeemed by faith, optimism, and courage. Eliot has a spiritual approach to life, which is rare in the 20th century, dominated by science and materialism. And so he gives a horrible picture of the anxiety-ridden post-war state of his mind in his poem, The Wasteland. The mind of the human is compared to a wasteland. Hamara mind kya hai? It is like a wasteland, which is actually devoid of hope, optimism and faith. Na hamare paas आशा है, na optimism है, na bharosa hai. The poet surveys the desolate scene of the world with a searching gaze. वो टॉर्च लगा के देख रहा है कि भैया कहां है, कुछ भी तो नहीं है. He relentlessly uncovers its baffling contrasts and looks in vain for a meaning where there is only a heap of broken images. If you have read the T.S. Eliot Wasteland, ये लाइन आपको मिलेगी वहां पे. A heap of broken images where the sun beats and the dead tree gives no shelter, the cricket no relief. Cricket मतलब वो cricket नहीं, cricket is वो जो एक मच्छर जानवर होता है. And the dead tree gives no shelter, the cricket no relief, and the dry stone no sound of water. So these two lines, beautiful lines by T.S. Eliot in The Wasteland, is actually giving you the picture of the desolateness, of the despair, of the anxiety, of the pessimism. I still remember few lines about his attitude, the same attitude which T.S. Eliot has expressed in his poem, The Hollow Man. And what are those lines? We are the hollow men. We are the stuffed men, leaning together, the headpiece filled with straw. Eliot, in the section of The Wasteland, that is the burial of the dead, he emphasizes the inevitable dissolution. The sacred wisdom too has fallen on evil days, and it is shown by the introduction of the tarot pack of cards. आपने देखा होगा वेस्टलैंड में tarot pack का एक एपिसोड है, used formerly for divination, divinity से बना है, and now for the fortune telling, भाग्य बताने के लिए. The sexual act, which had holy associations in the past, has degenerated into sexual boredom in the modern world, which has actually become mechanical and sterile and breeding not life and fulfillment, but giving you disgust and unanswerable questions to the society. The unending monotony of the modern life is described in a beautiful passage of that of a taxi man, a taxi throbbing, waiting in the fire sermon. The modern lady typist in the section The Fire Sermon does not give any importance to chastity, and after the completion of the mechanical sex act for money, This is modern life. If you remember that those two important lines, which are sometimes or many times asked in the BA or the MA, a reference to context in the examination. She smooths her hair with automatic hand and puts a record on the gramophone. So this scene is actually giving you the terrible insight into the modern Western civilization. And T.S. Eliot, in his section, A Game of Chess, presenting a rich, neurotic lady who is obsessed with sex and anxiety. This rich, neurotic lady, with her dry hair spread out in fiery points, is the symbol of loveless lust. So also her husband is obsessed with sex like Hamlet. The condition of the poor is also pitiable, where Lil, that is the character Lil, suffers from the evil physical effects of abortion and also of contraceptives. The people here are anxiety ridden. Perhaps these psychological perversions of the moderns may be the reason which induced Professor F.R. Lewis. F.R. Lewis का आपने नाम सुना होगा, to call A Game of Chess. मतलब उसकी पोएम को पढ़ करके F.R. Lewis जैसा प्रोफेसर अपने को रोक नहीं पाए और उन्होंने गेम ऑफ चेस को क्या कहा कि इट इज व्हाट, इट इज न्यूरास्थेनिक एपिसोड, NEURASTHENIC, neurasthenic episode. Fear, anxiety, what are these? These are the cardinal causes for importance in the modern world. The central conception of the wasteland is sexual impotence, which is used as a symbol for the spiritual malady of the modern world. The presence of the fertility nymphs is actually a nightmare to the casual lovers assembled on the banks of the river Thames. And what Tiresias hears is the rattle of bones, the chuckle is spread from ear to ear. Instead of life-giving music, which brings Ferdinand to Mirinda, yaad kariye, what Tiresias hears is, in the poem, the sound of horns and motors, which shall bring Sweeney to Mrs. Porter in the spring, heralding the promiscuous love affair. In Tiresias is represented the modern man, who is you and I. Though he is desirous for sex, he is powerless to act. The greed, the anxiety, the loveless lust are the main reasons for the modern state of man's impotency. And there is a section in this poem, What the Thunder Said. In this poem, we find Tiresias thirsting for the waters of faith, thirsting for the waters of feeling. And Tiresias finds, if you remember in the poem, here is no water but rock. Here is no water but rock, only rock. Rock and no water and the sandy road. The physical, the spiritual aridity of the desert is presented with a terrifying intensity. उसकी लाइन, दो लाइन मुझे याद है. There is not even silence in the mountains, but dry sterile thunder without rain. There is not even solitude in the mountains, but sullen faces, sneer and snarl. And the frustrated women of the revolution, torn Europe, are presented by the lines in the poem, over endless plains, stumbling in cracked earth, ringed by the flat horizon only. And so, all the efforts of Tiresias to get solace, happiness through the sex and religion end in miserable failures. What is required on the part of modern man is more than ethics and a complete self-surrender to faith in God. And it is true that skepticism in matters of belief and confusion in thought are the order of the day. The bewilderment and confusion have a direct bearing upon art and letters. The same sense of anxiety, fear, the sense of aimlessness, the sense of frustration, the sense of impotence, as in Eliot, is found in the novels of Huxley, in the novels of James Joyce. They are also in search of a faith which is eluding, and though the world remains parched, though the world remains sterile, it is not meaningless. It has got a meaning and is founded on the eternal morality to give, to sympathize and control. Give, sympathize and control. These are the three important terms. The absence of humility, complete self-surrender and faith in God account for the note of confusion, madness, despair on which the poem ends. So this is a brief introduction about T.S. Eliot in a nutshell, but yes, I have tried to give you a lot in this, I think, 22 minutes lecture. So I'll take a 1 minute rest and then again. So in the meantime, just convey some messages that are you able to get T.S. Eliot? आज तक आपने T.S. Eliot ऐसा पढ़ा है? Have you read it? Could you understand in this language which I taught you? Yes, sir, I found it totally okay. अगर किसी को ना समझ में आया हो तो भी लिख देगा, समझ में आ गया हो तो भी जरा से मैसेज कर दीजिए, so that अभी मुझे बहुत पढ़ाना है तो अकॉर्डिंगली हम स्लो पढ़ाएं या फास्ट पढ़ाएं या ठीक है स्पीड. जस्ट गिव मी अ मैसेज. Okay, students, I have got so many messages from all of you. Mostly the students have written, yeah, the speed is okay, fine, good, fine, good. Jatin, you have written that, yes, it is important for us. I'm moving rapidly, I'm moving a little fast. I think हम जिस स्पीड से स्टूडेंट्स चल रहे हैं उसका एक रीजन ये भी है कि अगर हम स्लो हो जाएंगे तो बहुत कुछ कवर कर पाना बड़ा मुश्किल होगा, जबकि फास्ट पढ़ाना बहुत कठिन होता है, बिकॉज योर ब्रेन इज यू नो वर्किंग लाइक एनीथिंग, जिसको कहते हैं हॉर्स पावर, स्पीड जिसपे कार चलती है, आरपीएम। सो वो आरपीएम हम ही को प्रॉब्लम करता है टू अचीव दैट स्पीड। यहीं पे आपको मैं एक एग्जांपल बताता हूं। लॉन्ग बैक, 7 to 8 years back, there were 6 to 8 students of Delhi University JNU. उनको मैंने पूरा नेट का कोर्स कराया था 18 आवर्स में। In 18 hours, 6 hours per day, continuous 6 hours per day into 3 days, I had finished the entire course of UGC NET with all the things. And that was my life's, my career's such a session. And those students of Delhi University, they took this supersonic speed beautifully, and out of those 6 students, 4 had qualified in the very first attempt. Only 18 hours. So हम तो उस हिसाब से तो आई एम वेरी स्लो। चलिए हम ध्यान रखेंगे इस बात का भी कि अगर स्पीड ठीक है, बाकी और कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, फाइन। ये जो अभी तक हमने आपको नटशेल बताया, दैट वाज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट केजिंग करने के लिए। अब हम आ रहे हैं डायरेक्ट वर्क्स ऑफ टीएस एलियट पे, क्योंकि जो टीएस एलियट का पीरियड है एक्टिव लिटरेरी प्रोडक्शन का, दैट इज अप्रोक्सीमेटली 45 ईयर्स। और इस लंबे अंतराल में 45 साल के जीवन में, उसके करियर के जीवन में, उसने प्लेज लिखा, लिटरेचर लिखा, लिटरेरी एंड सोशल एसेज लिखे, एज वेल he worked as an editor, he worked as a journalist, and he achieved a lot of distinction. And in other fields also, his writings may be subdivided into 3 heads. पहला पोइट्री, दूसरा ड्रामा एंड तीसरा प्रोज। पोइट्री, ड्रामा एंड प्रोज। लेटर में उसकी और भी लिटरेरी एंड सोशल क्रिटिसिज्म भी आई और उसका जर्नलिज्म भी आया। फाइन। सो नाउ वी विल वर्क विद the first part, that is poetry. We will go with poetry. The first section is poetry. अब पोइट्री में ध्यान रखिएगा कि पोइट्री में भी इसके कई फेज हैं। There are many phases of T.S. Eliot's poetry. सबसे पहले फेज में इसने लिखा है, एक इसका वर्क था, बहुत छोटा था, ये बच्चा था, जुवेनीलिया। जुवेनीलिया, JUVENILIA, जुवेनीलिया। बहुत बचपने से ही इलियट ने पढ़ाई शुरू कर दी थी, मतलब लिखना शुरू कर दिया था, when he was a school boy at an academy somewhere in St. Louis. और इस समय की जो पोइट्री थी वो निश्चित रूप से इमेच्योर थी, और it was just like a school boy exercise, but those poems actually was showing a lot of poetic talent. Then थोड़ा सा बड़ा हुआ, and we got the Prufrock and the other observations, जो कि मैंने अभी आपको पिछले लेक्चर में बताया, 1917. And this collection, Prufrock and other observations, includes poems which actually were written in Boston, जो कि यूरोप में है, and he was also very much influenced that time by reading the French writers like Laforgue, Laforgue, Laforgue. और इस सेकेंड फेज की जो इंपॉर्टेंट पोएम्स हैं उनका नाम है, पहला द लव सॉन्ग ऑफ J. Alfred Prufrock, दूसरा नाम है पोर्ट्रेट ऑफ अ लेडी। First is the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, second portrait of a lady, थर्ड उसकी पोएम है द प्रिल्यूड्स। वर्ड्सवर्थ के प्रिल्यूड से बिल्कुल इसको कंफ्यूज मत करिएगा, इसका नाम है द प्रिल्यूड्स। और चौथी है रैप्सोडी ऑन अ विंडी नाइट। रैप्सोडी, RHAPSODY, रैप्सोडी ऑन अ विंडी नाइट। फाइन। देन इसके बाद थोड़ा सा और मेच्योर हुआ टीएस एलियट, तो उसका तीसरा फेज आया। तीसरे फेज में उसने और भी बेहतर पोएम्स लिखी, जिनमें एक नाम है जो हम वो नाम आपको बता रहे हैं जो एज ए स्टूडेंट ऑफ इंग्लिश, एज ए स्टूडेंट ऑफ दिस एग्जामिनेशन आपको पता होना चाहिए। गेरोनिशन, GERONITION, गेरोनिशन। दूसरा है स्वीनी अमंग द नाइटिंगेल्स, स्वीनी अमंग द नाइटिंगेल्स। द थर्ड एंड द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, द वेस्टलैंड 1922 and the Hollow Man 1925। ये जितनी भी पोएम्स थी उसकी थर्ड फेज की स्टूडेंट्स, दे वर एक्चुअली स्ट्रिक्टली अर्बन इन कैरेक्टर, एंड ऑल दीज पोएम्स आर रिवीलिंग a deepening of the poet's distress at the corruption and decay of the contemporary European civilization। अब तक उसने डील किया था बहुत जगहों पे, बहुत प्लेसेस में, पीपल में, but now he is writing poetry which is actually known as great poetry, major poetry, and which may be called as epic poetry, that is the Wasteland, which is actually a kind of compressed epic where it portrays the state of the civilization out of which it is growing, and the poems are revealing a considerable maturity of the poet's powers, which is growing day by day manifolds. And the poems are bleak in tone and have been regarded as entirely pessimistic। अब आपको यहां पे यह समझ में आएगा कि मैंने जो अभी पिछले आधे घंटे आपको लेक्चर दिया है वो अब यहां से आप रिलेट करेंगे तो हमारी सारी लाइन आपको समझ में आएगी। जैसे मैंने आपसे कहा कि हैव बीन रिगार्डेड एज श्योरली पेसिमिस्टिक, तो अब पेसिमिस्टिक क्यों है? क्योंकि वो लेक्चर आप सुन चुके हैं कि एज कैसा था, क्या समय था, कैसा था, तो अब पेसिमिस्टिक आप बात को समझ जाएंगे। एंड द ग्लूम इज द रिजल्टेंट ऑफ द पोएट्स इनर ग्लूम, कॉन्सिक्वेंट ओवर वर्क, ओवर इल हेल्थ एंड द कॉन्टिन्यूड मेंटल इलनेस ऑफ हिज वाइफ। आप कभी इसका वो पढ़िएगा डिटेल, तो इसकी वाइफ को मेंटल इलनेस हो गया था काफी समय तक। एंड द नर्व शैटरिंग harrowing impact of the world war on a sensitive temperament। बहुत सेंसिटिव लोग थे ये, तो इनके ऊपर नर्व शैटरिंग इंपैक्ट हुआ था। नाउ द लास्ट फेज which is known as the fourth phase is a period which is known as Eliot's Christian poetry। Christian poetry, why? Because Eliot joined the Anglican Church of England in 1927, and this change in his faith is reflected in the poems of this phase। The poet is searching for right way, a right solution to the human dilemma, and he does so through the traditional paramparic material and imagery of Christianity। Here the tone becomes rather optimistic, and you will also find indications of the solution which the poet is likely to reach। Some of the most charismatic poems of this Christian period are, now you can write it down, जो मैंने अभी पिछले आधे घंटे में मैंने आपको उसका कुछ ग्लिम्सेस भी दिए हैं। Ash Wednesday 1930, Journey of the Magi, then यही दो मेन हैं, और इसके बाद इसका लास्ट फेज आता है, दैट इज द फिफ्थ फेज। फिफ्थ फेज टीएस एलियट का माना जाता है, विच गोज टू द 4 क्वार्टेट्स, जो मैंने आपको पहले बता रखा है, द 4 क्वार्टेट्स। अब इसका डिटेल और डेट भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि कई बार ओरिजिनल नेट के पेपर्स में इनको मैच करने को दिया गया था डेट वाइज, कौन सा पहले है कौन सा बाद है, सीरियल बनाना था, असेंडिंग टू डिसेंडिंग, समथिंग लाइक दैट। तो पहला है बर्न्ट नॉटन 1936, दूसरा है ईस्ट कोकर 1940, तीसरा है द ड्राई सैल्वेजेस 1941, एंड चौथा है लिटिल गिडिंग 1942। 36, 40, 41, 42। So this was a phase of T.S. Eliot, which is known as Eliot's religious poetry, as contrasted with the previous Christian poetry. And in both the phases, Eliot is a religious poet, as he ever was. But in the previous period, he used Christian imageries and tradition, while now he is examining the eternal problems of men without reference to the Christian tradition. Now we will move on to his another genre, that is पोइट्री के बाद ड्रामा। ड्रामा के फील्ड में भी टीएस इलियट ने इंग्लिश पोइट्रिक ड्रामा को रिवाइव कर दिया। ही डिड अ लॉट इन द रिवाइवल ऑफ इंग्लिश पोइट्रिक ड्रामा, चाहे वो अपने प्रैक्टिस से हो, चाहे वो कैसे भी हो। एंड देयर हैव बीन so many poetic dramas which you might have heard the name. And as a student of English literature from University of Allahabad, because Allahabad University has a lot of course, ऐसा कोर्स है इलाहाबाद यूनिवर्सिटी का कि आप देख लेंगे तो हैरान हो जाएंगे। I still remember in my MA previous we had 75 headings. अब now you calculate your MA English. 75 हेडिंग्स का मतलब होता है 75 बुक्स। जैसे मान लीजिए मैं नाम लूं, मर्डर इन द कैथेड्रल, द फैमिली रियूनियन, द कॉकटेल पार्टी, द कॉन्फिडेंशियल क्लार्क और द एल्डर स्टेट्समैन। तो ये अलग अलग बुक हुई, अलग अलग टॉपिक हुए। तो इस तरीके से वी हैड 75 इन एमए प्रीवियस ओनली, देन एमए फाइनल अलग। सो कैन यू इमेजिन द लेवल ऑफ यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ इलाहाबाद? सो दैट इज व्हाई द स्टूडेंट्स दे कम फ्रॉम द डिफरेंट स्टेट्स ऑफ इंडिया to University of Allahabad and especially also to Banaras Hindu University. Both are now central universities. So इसका जो ड्रामेटिक प्रोडक्शन है ड्रामा का, वो है द रॉक। पहला द रॉक, ये है 1914 का। उसके बाद आया द मर्डर इन द कैथेड्रल 1935, देन फैमिली रियूनियन 1939, द कॉकटेल पार्टी 1950, द कॉन्फिडेंशियल क्लार्क 1954 and the elder statesman 1959. अब आपको यहां पे एक काम करना है। अब आपको यहां पे एक काम ये करना है कि जब इसको नोट कर लिया आपने, तब आपको अपने हमारे स्टडी मटेरियल पे जाइएगा। बहुत सारे मर्डर इन द कैथेड्रल हो गया, कॉकटेल पार्टी, या बहुत सारी चीजें हमारे वर्क्स में होंगी। जो वर्क्स की फाइल आपके पास है वहां से देख लीजिएगा। जो ना हो, आपका मन करे, टाइम है, तो यू कैन गो फॉर द Google or your books or something like that. And जो रॉक है, जो इसकी पोएटिक ड्रामा है, रॉक इज एक्चुअली अ पेजेंट, P-A-G-E-A-N-T. The rock is actually a pageant written in collaboration with E.M. Brown. E.M. Brown के कोलैबोरेशन में लिखी है इसने द रॉक। एंड मर्डर इन द कैथेड्रल, which is supposed to be one of his most significant plays, deals with the martyrdom of Thomas Becket, where the dramatist is trying to bring home to the audience the real meaning and significance and meaning of the martyrdom, where the setting of this poetry is medieval. Now, if we talk about his plays in totality, his plays suffer from a tinge of artificiality, क्योंकि उसके अंदर कुछ लिमिटेड अपील है। It has limitations, as because the reason maybe I think they have been written according to some preconceived theories, the preconceived notions, and representing a reaction against the Elizabethic or the English dramatic tradition and so many things. Now we come to the prose section. पोइट्री हो गया, ड्रामा हो गया, प्रोज। Students, it is actually a tough job. Don't you think so? Don't you think so? It is actually a tough job teaching live classes. And in between, I have to take energy drink because if you remember, in the very initial lectures, I might have told you that I have always been teaching through the concept of energy transferring. Without energy transferring, आप कितना भी अच्छा पढ़ा लो, कुछ नहीं होने वाला. So that energy has to be transferred to you, and that will come only when you are yourself by blood a teacher in yourself who has the feel of making a chain of professors. No formalities. So अब तो काफी समय बीत गया. I think हम ये चाहते हैं कि कल आप भी जब किसी प्लेटफॉर्म पे खड़े हों और जब आप बोले तो आपको हम याद आए कि कैसे बोला जाता है, कैसे पढ़ाया जाता है, और हमने भी सीखा कहां से है? अपने प्रोफेसर से, जिनका मैं बहुत बड़ा फैन रहा हूं, इलाहाबाद यूनिवर्सिटी के प्रोफेसर्स. I always watch them teaching in the class, sitting on the front row, and dreamt of not becoming only a professor in English, but to make thousands of professors in English in the entire country. And by God's grace, by the grace of Sai Baba, जिसका नाम ही है ये एकेडमी का ओम साई नमा OSN, I have been lucky enough to produce and still producing. That is why I told you कि मेहनत करिएगा इसलिए क्योंकि आपको OSN का नाम और हमारा नाम रखना है. इस आग से आपको पढ़ाई करनी है कि हमें यह कहना है कि हम सर के स्टूडेंट हैं, क्योंकि सर ने जो विद्या हमको दी है दैट इज एक्चुअली प्राइसलेस. सो ये चीजें भी बीच बीच में इंपॉर्टेंट होती हैं आप लोगों से बात करना, एंड आई एम श्योर माई फील must be reaching up to you, and a day will come when I am sure someday you will come to meet me to Lucknow in person. Promise. So prose में आता है सबसे पहले literary criticism. T.S. Eliot undoubtedly is also a great prose writer, and he stands in the line of great poet critics, we can say, like Ben Jonson, like John Dryden, Dr. Samuel Johnson, even S.T. Coleridge and Matthew Arnold. इनकी जो प्रोज में इनके जो वर्क्स हैं उनका आप नाम लिख लें, क्योंकि वो नाम शायद आपने कभी सुना नहीं होगा. लेकिन जैसा मैंने बताया था कि एक वर्क पूछा था W.B. येट्स का विजन ये क्या है, नोबडी वाज नोइंग. सो प्रोज में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट तो नहीं है, एक दो का नाम लिख लीजिए. एक नाम है द आइडिया ऑफ अ क्रिश्चियन सोसाइटी. द आइडिया ऑफ अ क्रिश्चियन सोसाइटी. I'm happy, students, that yes, you have written that yes, you will follow my instructions and you will always follow my guidance. Thank you for such comments. So the idea of a Christian society, 1939. And second, एक और लिख लीजिए, notes towards a definition of culture. Notes, NOTES, towards a definition of culture, 1948. बस दो बहुत है. देन ट्रेडिशन एंड इंडिविजुअल टैलेंट, थोड़ा फास्ट लिखिएगा. tradition and individual talent. Next, poetry and drama. Poetry and drama. Third, the function of criticism. The English metaphysical poets. And last, the frontiers of criticism. The frontiers of criticism. ये बहुत पॉपुलर एसेज में से आते हैं टीएस एलियट के इन द फील्ड ऑफ लिटरेरी क्रिटिसिज्म. Now we will talk about his other genre, which is known as journalism. Journalism. You must have read somewhere that Eliot worked as editor of the Criterion. The Criterion. The Criterion, TE. And he worked as an editor of the Criterion from 1922 to 1939, जिसमें कि ऑल ओवर यूरोप से कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस आते थे ऑन अ वाइड वैरायटी ऑफ सब्जेक्ट्स. एंड बाद में इलियट ने इसको खुद से बंद कर दिया विद द आउटब्रेक ऑफ वॉर. एंड इट बिकेम क्लियर that the breakdown of communication with Europe was inevitable. Now, I'll ask from all of you students here, whoever are watching me in this class, that will you be able to manage the entire wasteland on yourself? Or you would like to get a proper one complete lecture on wasteland. दो wasteland एक ऐसा टॉपिक है जिसको मैं अपने ऑफलाइन क्लासेस में करीब मान के चलिए तो 6 से 7 दिन लेता हूं, 6 to 7 days. But that is entirely different. Now the smart studies. So smart studies that are required 7 days now, क्योंकि अब दुनिया भाग रही है. So would you like to get one lecture from me on wasteland, or should I move ahead? So ये जवाब मुझे आप सभी से चाहिए और तुरंत चाहिए, so that you may come tomorrow ready made by reading wasteland from your study material, from my study material, from anywhere, so that when I give you a supersonic lecture on wasteland, you may be able to grasp everything. Vandana, you have asked a question that do we need to note down the names even if we have the study material provided by you? See, I don't remember, because the study material keeps on changing and updating from time to time. So it is technically not possible for me to remember कि मैं क्या पढ़ा रहा हूं और क्या मैंने लिख के दिया है आपको. So it is better कि आप, जैसे मान लीजिए टीएस इलियट हम पढ़ा रहे हैं, तो हमारे स्टडी मटेरियल का टीएस इलियट पोर्शन सामने रख लीजिए और पहले से पढ़ के रखिए. नहीं भी पढ़ा है, मान लीजिए कोई नया टॉपिक भी शुरू कर दिया, तो आपके सामने सारी फाइल्स हैं. You can open whatever I am teaching and just see what is going on. और लेफ्ट हैंड का जो पेज आपका ब्लैंक है, आप देख रहे होगा, लिखा है तो रहने दीजिए और नहीं लिखा है तो आप नोट डाउन कर लीजिए. इसका सिंपल से यही हो सकता है, बिकॉज आई कैन नॉट टेल यू कि हम क्या लिख के दे चुके हैं, क्योंकि यहां पे 50% चीजें नहीं मिलेंगी आपको हमेशा, which would not be there even. I cannot remember, क्योंकि my mind works with a 20 years of experience. और I cannot prepare myself कि हमें ये बोलना है आज क्लास में. I don't know myself कि हम कहां से क्या चीज बोल देंगे. Even a teacher cannot remember. So that is the you can say the limitation. So we want one lecture on wasteland from you, sir. I'm okay. I have studied in the PG, but for others, you can give son one class, please. I can do, sir. Yes, sir. Would love to have separate lecture for wasteland because there is no proper detailed explanation. The Google also. अरे you cannot compare Google here because Google में तो Google ही है. Google से होता तो सारी दुनिया नेट हो जाती बेटा. So okay, do one thing कि come prepared with the wasteland tomorrow and I will give you a fast lecture, fast not supersonic, but it will be a जैसे आज पढ़ाया मैंने, and I'm sure you would love to listen that lecture of wasteland, and till then just revise this T.S. Eliot. जितना भी मैंने आपको लिखवाया है पढ़ाया है इसका प्रॉपर डिटेल्ड स्टडी आप कल तक के में करेंगे. You are getting full 24 hours cycle where you have to become a master of T.S. Eliot. मेरे स्पीड से चलिए आपका काम हो जाएगा. Clear? Okay, fine then. A good evening to all of you and rest prepared tomorrow same time. Thank you, students.